making money with a UV printer. So I've done quite a few videos showcasing a lot of different possibilities. This video is dedicated to just sales ideas. So all kinds of different projects showing how simple and how easy it is. I've worked with a lot of different machines this last year, and this is by far my favorite. It is so quick, so simple, and it's pretty foolproof to get amazing jaw-dropping results, whether it's super textured, quick prints, all kinds of different possibilities. Use the timestamps if you want to skip on around. I'm going to just give lots of different tips and ideas here on the Eufy E1 desktop UV printer and how to make money with it. So real quick intro, if you don't know much about desktop UV printing, this is the new eufyMake E1 UV printer. Got these little cartridges. It's got a resin ink, right? And so the resin cures through UV light. Super simple, super easy. You can run this in your office, in your home, all kinds of different places. I've made a ton of different things. I've got other videos on it, but here, let's jump into sales ideas. All right, the first sale idea is the biggest one, right? And so with that bed, back and forth, the possibility of making these signs. Now you can do this in all kinds of ways. You can do the wooden ones, you can do canvas, you can even do anodized metal. But I think this is probably one of the best sellers and the easiest thing to do. Now obviously a bigger print might take a little bit longer, especially if you're adding in texture, but this is a premium, right? And so whether it is something like this, where it's the Muir Woods, the national parks, other landmarks, I think that's a really big selling point. You can even create your own, right? AI is awesome, and so this image actually just did redwoods, forest, AI, and then just added the text, so you can create your own. There's lots of files online. You can find all kinds of different ones, some pretty cool ones, but not just real places, real landmarks. You can even go with fan art. So this one right here is some anodized aluminum, anodized steel. It's metal, but it's anodized. You do want to make sure with the metal ones, there's something to adhere. So here, this is from the Lord of the Rings. Now, copyright. Obviously, if you're using something that's a straight off, rip off of someone's image or picture, that's, obviously you're not going to sell that. But if it's fan art, there's a lot of sources online where you can find those files, and you will make it available to commercially produce, or you can do, all kinds of things. Obviously with, real paintings and famous stuff like that, I don't really know the copyright with that, but that's something, to consider before selling. Obviously custom family photos. Photos, really simple. The texture effect is really cool. You can do some crazy ones, all kinds of different fantasy art, whether it's Lord of the Rings or, Star Wars, or you can do Arrakis, with Dune. You can do some really cool textured stuff. We'll get into that a little bit more, but let's take a closer look at some of the bigger portraits, the bigger wall art. In my full video, I talk a lot more about this process, but you have that full bed, so here we can do it. This is so easy. You have the opportunity of adding in textures. You can do patterns and all kinds of different things. Obviously, more ink is going to take a little bit longer, but look at the crazy texture. Now, this is just AI sensing. You just throw in any image, and it's going to pop those letters, right? It looks really cool. That is a premium price point, really great for upsale. One of my favorites with this E1 is their tumblers, specifically their rotary, because it's an auto tilt and it does so well, especially on things that typically are tapered and you have to get it just so. It makes it so easy and so simple. Now you can do full wraps. You can do a full wrap around a tumbler, you can do textured prints, you can do all kinds of stuff. This was so much fun. I even did a whole video about like 30-40 different styles, whether it's like a collage where you do intricate different pictures, whether you're doing textured ones, some crazy applications. Now normally, a tumbler like this is like $5-ish bucks, for the blank. And then, you add in a little bit of ink, a couple bucks of ink maybe, and you can sell these for $20, $30. Obviously bigger ones, more involved collage style, there's a huge profit to be made there. And I think tumblers are fantastic, mugs, lots of considerations. Let's take a quick look at the tumblers for sales. So what's so cool is the fact that you can do these 3D textures on a tumbler. Now you can do full wraps. Again, this whole video just is all about tumblers, so you can check that out. But look at the texture effect, right? This starry night vibe. You can even do it on these colored tumblers, raised lettering, raised pictures. It's not going to come off. I talk about durability, dishwasher type applications and what blanks are best to use for tumblers. There's just so much in that full video that I had to do a whole dedicated one, but some really cool ones, some awesome ideas for tumblers. So a major way to make money with these machines, with any of these desktop machines that mark and engrave or print, it's business to business relationships. And so branding for other businesses is a great way to increase, profits. So whether it's you're gonna make tumblers, for a company, you can batch these out in no time. Like this took like 20 minutes. You can do a batch of these. You can do patches. There's extra things to do, leather patches. You can do, poker chips. You could brand that. Obviously, you could do, all kinds of things. You can do keychains. Really, there's a lot of different blinks. And if you watch my other videos, you'll see a lot of other ideas. But, even journals, tins. So doing your logo for, gifts for employees for other businesses or businesses that want to brand. Obviously, you could do pens. You can make a little jig and engrave a bunch of different pens with your business logo with that color, and it really pops. It stands out even more than the laser engraved stuff, and it's pretty cool what you can do with it. We'll get into ornaments in a second, but you could do company ornaments, or a big business. You could do a church wants to do a bunch of ornaments. You can do a bunch like that. So those bigger orders for other businesses or larger organizations is a great way. You could do, you can do frisbees, right? You could brand the frisbees and those things that companies like to give away or have swag, a swag bag as you go, to an event and see all their stuff. I think that's a great way, is marketing to other businesses, realtors, mortgage companies. They love to give gifts as closing gifts or other things to remember the business. So you can brand all kinds of things, whether it's glass candles or all kinds of things, right? So all of this stuff, all the things that we're going to show and other things, think about business to business. That's a great way to increase sales. So without a question, my number one seller is ornaments. Now, whether I make them out of wood or I use them on the laser, all kinds of different ones, but check out, the 3D effects. And so I think this is a huge selling point. Now, every year I do a craft show just around the holidays, and I bring in at least $1,000 to $2,000 just from ornaments alone. Now, you could do a bunch of these really cool 3D ones. There's so many different designs out there. You can do it on wood. You can do it on ceramic. Right, and so that textured effect, it's going to use more ink. It's going to be a little bit more of a premium, but if you get something really compelling for your area, your region, I think fantastic. Of course, there's no shortage of images and files. I'll link a place to find even more files down below. You can do family photos, all kinds of different things. So I think ornaments is a huge moneymaker. Lots of possibilities on the different styles that you can do. You can buy these pre-made blanks, whether they're wood, ceramic, or any other material, but the ornaments are huge. Let's take a look at ornaments. So for the last probably 6 years, I've been selling ornaments around the holidays, and these always bring in, a minimum like $10 per ornament, but easily, $15, $20. Now, if you're gonna do the textured effects, you can sell them for a lot more. But just showing from my past videos all the different options. But here you can see I just ran, 8 at a time, and the textures, you can do these simultaneous, you can do a huge batch. The textured effects are just crazy. And so definitely want to check these out. This is a great way to make money and just build that in around the holidays. People are normally more likely to, purchase gifts for other people. And this is such a unique idea and a unique idea that people are going to buy it. So ornaments. So really quick, I want to talk about the ornaments because I think this is such a great item to showcase. I want to show you how easy it is to do the software. Now later in the video, I'll do a lot more about the software and design, but I want to talk about the ornaments. Okay, so for this little test, I just did 5. This is the standard bed, and you saw earlier, I could put a ton of ornaments on this one bed and just do a bunch at the same time. That really improves your efficiency and really is great for small business. But I went ahead and I did the snapshot, so now I know where these ceramic ornaments are. And then I just go, here, I can upload a new image, or I have these ones I've already uploaded. All right, so when I upload an image, sometimes the image you have isn't the best quality, so you might want to update it. You can do an upscaler, but just this relief texture is incredible. And so what I love with those ornaments is adding the texture. This is how fast it is. If I wanted to do a bunch of that same design, I could just copy and paste, but I want to show how I can do multiple different designs on this particular, ornament build. So here we go, it's loading, and then we'll go ahead and put everything in place. All right, it's gone ahead and it has given me, the different depth. Now I can add it a lot more, right? I can make it a lot thicker. I can go crazy if I wanted to. That's kind of ridiculous, but you get the idea, right? You can go up to 5 millimeters. So I think I'll just leave it what it had. And then I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this to size. The camera is really, really accurate. So let's go ahead and plug and play. We got our ornament, and there. All right, so you can play around with it however you want. I mean, I can make it bigger, have a little bit of a border. Let's do that. Let's go right there. All right, now if I wanted to, I could do this design on multiple ones, but let me show you some more. Let's go ahead and just let's do a flat. We'll plug this one in. Mountains are calling. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this to size. Super simple. Super simple. All right, now I can do that HD upscaler to make it ultra HD. Oh, it's already too big. So if you have an image that's maybe not great high quality, the standard settings work really well. I use those all the time. So we're going to see what this looks like, and then we'll just do a couple more and then show you the results. So I got my image again. Awesome. I'm such a sucker for this cool effect. And some more. Here's a cool, feature. Let's upscale it first because I know this one is not high quality. So I'll show you here. I can, see how it's kind of pixelated. It's not the best. Really easily, we can upscale that. It's upscaling, and then once we've done that, we're going to do an AI remove. All right, so it's going to be better quality. Now we're going to remove the background because it just pops that much better. We don't need all that extra white. It is going to take away some of the cream, but that works fine on something like this. And bring it down and over. All right, whatever. You can do whatever you want on an ornament. On this one, we're going to do... 1 millimeter is good. It's just going to be a little bit higher on there. Okay. And we have a couple more, and you're getting bored. So let's just jump ahead to show you what it looks like. All right. So I've gone ahead. I have my 5 ornaments. I doubled it up here. All right. Now I just click print. It's that simple. I made it a little bit longer because I'm adding in the different textures. This is really simple. And then you just hit print. And then once it's ready on the machine, you hit the green button and you're good to go. All right, here's a fun one, just magnets, right? And so this is kind of, you see this New York one, this is kind of the standard on all these E1s. That's kind of one of the first test files. But again, that travel poster idea, travel posters, you could do magnets, right? You can do all kinds of other things. That texture is just so cool. You can do family photos. So these ceramic magnets are really, really great. You can also add in texture, other cool designs like that. You can do these bigger, wider ones. I think magnets is just a great repeatability, kind of along those lines. These are sublimation-like blanks, little keychains. With that same thing. Again, you can kind of see my theme of these travel poster idea. I think that's a huge market with all kinds of places. So, magnets, keychains, some more ideas. And really, folks, there's no shortage of ideas, right? You can do, I think right here, just doing these plate covers, especially the textured ones, super cool. Obviously, you're not going to do Disney licensed stuff to sell, but for personal projects. But for sales, I think there's some really cool ones, some compelling ones. But you can see all kinds of different blanks in here of what you can do. Of course, the puzzle. Actually, let's talk about the puzzles. I've done quite a few puzzle projects in printing. The quality is insane. So just getting like a sublimation puzzle blank like this and you printed, it is perfect, right? It is flawless. The pieces work great. So this is such an easy way. This would be such an easy way to do family portraits, doing puzzles. This is a perfect size. There's plenty of boxes online that you could find a box and then, print the picture on that. Anyway, I think this is a great, just specializing in puzzles alone is a great idea, but great results, really, really cool. So another great idea for sales are medals, trophies, awards. So whether you're using like a nice metal stainless steel one like this, or you can 3D print some awards, or you buy blanks. There's all kinds of different ones out there. You could do it like with the ornaments with wood. I think that is a great idea. You could do this for schools, right? You could do it for different academic or citizen achievement awards. You can do this for sports teams. You could go to events. You could even set up on site and and print custom. You can do that 3D embossing. So that 3D embossing, there's so much potential here. So imagine I have like a frame with kids' photo from baseball, from soccer, and then you have their raised lettering of their name up above, team name down below and the year. I think there's some great potential there for plaques, for awards, for different trophies. You can definitely customize. You could even print the family photo. You could do kind of an outline. You could cut it on a laser cutter and do kind of a standing one. Lots of other ideas. I'm going to explore this a lot more in future videos, but I think the sales idea of making awards and trophies is a great idea. Challenge coins. So metal. Now these brass coins, they're kind of not perfectly smooth to start with, so I feel like it adhered pretty well. But you can see like how awesome these challenge coins are, especially for display. You can get some amazing, amazing results. Texture galore. I even did it on wooden coins. So did some textured, I think challenge coins could be great. Doing small little one-offs, for custom orders, but you could do a batch, again, going back to the business to business. If you wanted to do something like that, probably a better logo would stand out even better on these poker chips. You're not going to do the raised effect because you want them to, stack. But lots of other blanks, lots of other possibilities. Phone cases, right? Phone cases are great. Even AirTag holders, journals, more ideas. We have, cool little, it's not real stained glass, but it has that stained glass effect. You can do it completely transparent up in the window. Look really cool. Or on white acrylic, that looks great. I cut those on the laser. That looks really cool. And now let's talk about these. So yeah, I think these DTF transfers are really great, and obviously could do something like this on a bigger, a Stanley, big 40-ounce tumbler or something that's a weird shape. Could apply these transfers. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And so look ahead, they're going to do the roll-to-roll film. Even more possibilities for sales, but I think stickers and just producing a bunch of these and these, these transfers, these DTF transfers are a great idea as well. In my other video, I talk about these transfers and just how simple it is to do. But obviously, you could do these small sheets on the mini bed, but you can do full-size sheets as well. There's a laminator in there. Again, they are coming out with a roll-to-roll film attachment for these transfers. I'll be showing that in future videos. But I think this is a great option for these. These transfers work in so many ways, right? You can use the transfers to put them on larger surfaces, larger tumblers, all kinds of things. It's just a really slick setup. It's resin, right? So they don't scuff up. You're going to remove that top sheet. It's a transfer. And so let me show you how that looks. Super clean. Holds up really well. So really quick, let me show you some other ideas and great ways to make money using the software. I'm not going to go all the way into the software because I do that in the other videos, but just the free software. There are so many different project ideas that are really, really compelling. There's so many different ways to make money. So definitely check that out. But one thing that I really love using is the AI. Now you can go back and you can shift the style. You can do face swap. You can even use use their own AI image generator. But what I love about this, obviously, you can see some of the ones I've done where I've removed the background, I've done different texture. But the face swap is so cool. I think this is something that would be really a great product line for here's my boys, right? And different things and adventurers. I think that's just a really fun thing. And then you throw that on a Tumblr, you throw that on some wall art. I've done that canvases for my sons. There's even the Van Gogh filter, which I think is just so cool. So a lot of stuff just built in itself that is great. You can upload your images just like normal, but then they do have a lot of other templates that are already here. So a lot of things built into the software, super simple. Another feature I show in a lot of my videos is this website. It's called Creative Fabrica. And so earlier you saw me talk about the national parks. Well, if I wanted to go to, say Etsy and buy, these digital posters, I mean, look at how many. This would be like a $5, $6, maybe even $10 file. Well, for the cost of like $4, even less, I get unlimited downloads for a whole month, including this one. This would be a great one. And so all of these different features, earrings, right? Lots of different ones for that kind of look. I can do businesses, design. I show this in a lot of my videos. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of different great PNG images. Here's the tumblers, all of these full wraps. So this is Creative Fabrica. If you use my link down below, you get 10 free downloads. However, it's great. There's just so many really, really cool features, especially, when we're talking about texture. And so some more ideas, some more inspiration, but at least 10 free files if you use my link down below. However, really, really inexpensive for loads and loads. So check it out, Creative Fabrica. You can even check out fonts and all kinds of stuff like that. So many options, possibilities, lots of ways to make money. A lot of other ideas in my other videos. We'll keep showing lots more. But just give me a quick look at some of the different pieces that you can make. I'm going to give another shout out to those ornaments. Of course, phone case. There's so many things, right? Limitless. But hopefully this gave some ideas and inspiration. All right, well, there you have it. Some ideas, some sales ideas. Now, again, I do have other videos. We'll talk a lot more about this machine, a lot more coming. But if this provided value, please consider subscribing to see more videos on UV printing, on all things Maker, some pretty cool stuff. And yes, this machine, this E1, was sent to me by eufyMake in exchange for making videos and affiliate commissions. If you're interested in purchasing, it's amazing, it's awesome. It is my favorite machine of this last year. So many possibilities. Consider using our affiliate link or down below. We do get a small commission from each sale, helps support my family making videos like this. Some really cool stuff, some other add-ons and features, great, amazing. It's an amazing machine. Folks are just, they're incredible. And so look for more content on this. What are you looking for? So for those of you maybe waiting on a machine or looking to get one, what do you want to see? What do you need to see more of on this E1? What would be a cool idea? Drop it in the comment down below and we'll try and add it in future videos. All right, well, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.